All right, we're gonna see how long I'm gonna be doing this for. I might be doing it for half an hour. I might be doing it for 45 minutes. However, leave your questions in the side over here off to the right, and I will be answering them at the end of this. But first and foremost, a lot of people think that they want to change. They think the world around them wants them to change to be better. They think that girls want them to change to be better. But the real truth of the matter is that no, they don't. People like familiarity. People like people to be the same. Whenever people try to level up, it throws a monkey wrench in um, in the comfortable hierarchy that they're used to. And if you're trying to be different too, it means that you're also trying to be inauthentic, which supposedly by society standards isn't a good thing. But if you want a better life, if you want a better surrounding, if you want a better standing, then to be fair, you have to change. I mean, you can't be the same person you've been your entire life and expect a different result. You can't be dating Megan Fox and still be the same shy guy you've always been. You got to become a confident guy. You got to be an extrovert. And I don't. It's a big misnomer when it comes to society because society doesn't. Again, it's just uncomfortable. Um, so I'll give you guys a few ideas, but and a few examples of this, and a few ways to change. But first and foremost, I am still filling up spots for my Nashville, Tennessee boot camp. If you guys are interested, text Cowboy to 702-841-9909. It's the first time I've ever been out there, so I'm very interested to actually check it out. I've heard a lot of things about it. I heard a lot of the women out there are fucking beautiful. I'm excited to go say hi to those people and bring some of you guys with me. So if you guys want to jump on, let me know. Now, firstly, girls don't really want you to change. They don't like inauthenticity, and girls honestly can be the biggest fucking bullies. Guys, when we bully each other, we're a very we're more physical bullies. Girls are emotional and they are societal. They're social bullies. They're the kind of people who will falsely accuse a guy of rape, for example. They're the ones that will try to go and fuck a girl's boyfriend to get back at the girl. They can be just as evil as men. It's just they're a lot better at hiding it. And for this reason, right now, girls are kind of running the world. I know, surprise, surprise, for a lot of the a lot of the blue pill people out there and a lot of the people in mainstream society. But girls can be vicious. They can be equally as vicious. It's just that they're a lot better at hiding it. Uh, they're a lot better at keeping it underneath layers of like they're sneaky. They can be a lot sneakier. So the first example of this is oftentimes whenever I start coaching a guy and the guy is super fresh at talking to girls, oftentimes he how do I put he has to break that barrier between him being a nice guy and actually be authentic and be willing to risk offending a girl and be willing to even show intent to a girl. Now, this is one of those hardest areas for a guy early on because it means that he needs to force himself to try to be something different for a good like 2 to 3 months. And during this period of time, I've seen guys get bullied to death when it comes to like something simple. So let's say that I were to make you go out. Hey, how's it going, man? Let's say if I were to make you go out and I was going to make you wear a button-up t-shirt, and let's say I made you wear the button-up t-shirt super low, I could get away with that. However, there's a lot of guys that couldn't. All right, if you're this super nice, super sweet guy, and you're very meek and mild, girls will bully you to death. They will bully the shit out of you for wearing something like this because you're not the guy supposed to be wearing that. You're not the guy who's confident enough for the guy that's supposed to be dressing like this. And you got to break through that barrier. So the girls sense on some level that you don't feel comfortable being this person, or that you are not the character that's supposed to be doing this. So they sense inauthenticity, and they sense that you're soft, and they sense that they can get away with pushing you and bullying you. So guess what they do? They do just that. They push and bully you. And it's the hardest thing I have to teach a lot of these guys who are very simple, or not simple, but they're very they're very new at game, and they don't have a good backbone yet. They're good followers, but they're not very good leaders. And so what you usually have to do is you have to train these guys to be a little bit abrasive, one, and you have to train these guys to be number two, show intent, and to have a little bit of a backbone. Basically, the term that you usually use is you got to teach the guys to, when they talk to a girl, the girls either have to shit or get off the pot. If you're getting a lot of girls that when you're approaching them saying nice to meet you, if you're getting like nice to meet yous left and right, you have to like have a style of game where it's like make the girl either shit or get off the pot. If she doesn't know, like if she's talking to you and and it's just friend to friend instead of man to woman, it's time that you need to start showing intent. It's time that you need to approach a girl and like give her eye contact and say this. And now the girls again are going to be mean. They're going to be shitty, and that's the hardest. That's one of the hardest barriers for guys initially getting to over this game. For me, it was super difficult because I was very soft, and so pushing through this early barrier for me was tough. Girls were obviously very vicious, and eventually, I remember I was in the club one day and I was actually it was this was before I went out. I was looking at the mirror and I was looking at myself and I was like, I was just going through this for like 3 months of just getting fucking brutally rejected. And I was just like, this was like, fuck this. No matter what the fuck I do, I'm gonna get rejected. So why don't fuck I just have a lot of fun? And it's usually that leverage when you go out that actually allows you to change and to just say, fuck this, I'm done with this. If you're somebody who's in that area, understand that that pain of getting rejected, I know it feels very personal at the moment. It feels like, oh no, it must be that I'm ugly and blah blah blah. Dude, like no, I promise you, it's not the case. I know it's hard to like kind of unlatch from that mindset, especially when you haven't been out gaming that much. And I'll say this: 1,000 approaches isn't that much. If you guys are like, I've done 1,000 approaches, I've done 2,000, 3,000 approaches, I've done so many approaches. It's not that many approaches. You're not Michael Jordan. Um, yeah, so it's you need so much pain to as leverage to change. Now, I see people commenting over here. If you guys want to leave any questions too, I'll be answering a bunch at the very end of this. It's not gonna take me too long to go through these different points. So go ask some questions. And then, yeah, I'll answer them at the very end of this. So the very first stage is showing intent early on. All right. Now the next one is whenever I start working with a guy, sometimes I will be coaching them up to, let's say, maybe not drink when they go out. Maybe I'll be coaching them up to dress differently when they go out. Maybe I'll be like, hey, buy some earrings. Oftentimes I'll do stuff like this because I want to change their ego. Now, changing your fashion is an action that feeds an ego. And oh, sorry, guys, just woke up. By changing an ego, you can now start acting differently, moving differently, and it helps out a lot. But then what happens is the guys will constantly come to me and be like, well, if I do these things, if I dress this way, if I start talking this way, if I approach and say this, what will the girl think about me? And here's the truth of the matter. You have to become the exception to the rule, quote unquote, the popular guy, the popular kid. I do all these, I dress, I have a very weird sense of style myself. But the reason I have this weird sense of style is because as I've gotten into this, and I've been doing this for a long fucking time, I realized that I get to do what the fuck I want. Once you kind of get to a level in this and you get to a certain level of confidence, you can dress and do and be the person you want to be because you're the man, you're the shit. You decide what's cool. If you don't want to drink when you're out, don't drink. There was a client, well, he's a close friend of mine, and he might be even watching this video. I talked about this yesterday. He said that he went on a drink before we started doing coaching. Well, he didn't drink. He said he didn't drink, and he had a girl who called him creepy. And because he wasn't drinking. And I told him, all right, cool. Well, now go out and don't drink. I guarantee you, no girl will ever say that. And if she does, you know how to respond to it. And he goes, yeah. I'm like, that's the fact that the girl's a fucking weirdo. The girls are a fucking weirdo for even trying to tell you who you can or can't be. Like it's fucking weird. She said women, when you're this guy, are just children. It sounds bad, but men are supposed to be the dominant factor in a relationship and even out and about. If I have somebody try to shame me, like actually shame me, not from a place of being my friend and trying to mess around, But from a place of trying to corral me into a fucking lane or trying to make me a certain person, it's like it's children. It's just that the person's a child. I get to do what the fuck I want. I'm not the person who like you can corral. You want to be the person that like people are how I put it. All right, so I live in Vegas, and oftentimes whenever I'd start doing something, a lot of my friends or people around me will start dressing and adopting my fashion sense, even though it's like the dumbest fashion sense, painting my nails, wearing headbands, things like that. People start like adopting and stealing fashion from me, and it's because I'm the guy's allowed to do that, but other people aren't. You can say, do what you want, and I say the most offensive shit when I'm out, not because I'm trying to hurt people's feelings, and to be fair too. People's emotions are not my problem. But see, that's again, it's a very non like societal belief to say that. You guys need to unhook from society and have your own autonomous beliefs that are not hooked into this whole dumb shit. And the more you go out and the more action you take, the more that you are, yeah, it's live. The more that you unhook and unhinge from society and you believe more in yourself than you do in other people, the better a game you get. You guys care too much about what society thinks, and you care too much about like even like this. I made a post on. I was took one of my videos about toxic masculinity, posted on Reddit, and it was funny how many guys commented underneath it, and were just parroting shit the society said. It was like no free think. It was like everybody have just been brainwashed. And every time somebody said that, I'm like, I mean, some of the people maybe that it was their own belief separate from society, but I don't believe so. I think that like they got corralled, they got pushed down, and they got like stomped. And society said this is what you should believe it, and they were too weak to have their and too tired to actually think critically and think is this my own belief system? Is this what I actually believe, or is this what other people believe? And yeah, I wish it wasn't that way, and I wish it was easy as fuck to explain this too. But you guys need to you guys need to learn how to unhinge from group think and become the person that molds and changes group think. You need to become that guy, and if you're not that guy, girls aren't going to find you sexy. If you can't think for yourself, girls won't find you sexy. You need to have like your own strong reality that doesn't bend. When a girl starts bitching at you, like I said, I've been saying some very offensive things, which I'm trying not to say on YouTube. But the reason I'm saying them is not because I actually even like because I'm like trying to be some kind of like hurtful person. It's because I don't want to be the guy who can't say what the fuck I want to say. I'm a strong individual, and I say what I want. And you know what's funny? I can say that shit to a girl, and the girl finds me sexier because I say that. Some of you guys say that shit, and the girl's gonna start immediately start what's the word for it? Shaming you because you're a weak person. If you're a weak person, you can't say these things that I can say. If you're somebody that doesn't have like an autonomous personality or isn't confident enough or isn't that confident guy, that society kind of just like lets do what he wants. Society will naturally sense that. Girls will sense that in a subconscious way, and they'll start attacking you for it. And they'll start beating you into the earth. Screaming matches, throwing tantrums, and then they let me get away with it, and they'll even laugh when I say shit like this. Whereas for most guys, they can't say shit. It's that transition. It's that moment where it's like, fuck you. I say what I want. I'm the man. I'm the value. I'm the prize. And if you guys aren't in that shift yet, you need to become the popular kid. You need to become the popular guy. You need to become a guy that's allowed to say what he wants. But I'll say this too. I'm not going to just blame girls because it is men in society in general too that does this. Women are just obviously this is our thing as women. But yeah, people in society don't want you to change either. Your friends don't want you to change. Your friends want you staying consistent. And the second you start changing, what do? They start attacking you. It's like a lot of you guys don't even let people know that you do this shit because you guys are afraid of people knowing that you want to become better, or that like the people be like, this is creepy, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh no, my friends are going to attack me for learning how to do this. Again, when I was younger and I like this, I was so into this. I honestly bragged about this way too much. I even did it on dates. I'm saying don't do this on dates. Don't even talk about the shit on dates. It's just that I was so into this and I was so into my own shit and I was so passionate. I don't know. I didn't give a fuck. I just thought I just like I was so into this. I was like, and then what was cool about this was that my passion made other people passionate about this. My like so every time I moved to a new city, I was so into game that like so even in Vegas, like a lot of you guys in the some of you guys in the comments and some of you guys like who are watching this video, you guys know me in Vegas. I'm so passionate about this shit. Me and Avery made a fucking movement out here again. Every time I move to a new city, like the community wherever we go, gets pumped up, gets bigger, and becomes like a lot more powerful. Uh, just after COVID, the community out here was dead because me and Avery were so passionate about this, going out all the time, fucking like just being smoke shows of game. Everybody else started fucking coming out here and started traveling and moving here. People that were here started getting passionate about it too, and we created a community. Um, People sense when you are being authentic and when you're into something. Um, and it's like it's the authenticity. It's not like I'm not hesitating when I say that I love something like this. But when you are trying to change, again, people will attack you. Like, so if you start watching self development and you've never done that before, and your social circle doesn't believe in it, they'll start like saying it's scammy, it's this, it's that, it's self fucking development. And if like it's just wild that people just kind of want to stay so stagnant. You want to make money? Oh my god, you're so greedy that you want to make money. You want you want to do you want to travel and move? Why do you want hotter girls? Why do you want a more attractive girl? Average girls are way cooler than hot girls. Um, uh, like why are you being so why do you want to like go out and approach girls and be a player? Why do you want to take advantage of girls? Like it's like they're taking on all these frames that are not just. It's like they're taking on from their reality. So if they're people who don't go out and approach girls, it's because honestly, it's because they're too fucking afraid. But you can't tell them that because then it hurts their ego. So they have to. So they come to rationalizations for why they're not approaching girls and why not approaching girls makes them a better person. If somebody gets married, they're going to come to rationalizations for why getting married is the right answer and why everybody should get married. If there's somebody who is broke in the streets and homeless, they're going to find a reason why being broke in the streets and homeless is best for everybody, why everybody should be broke in the streets and homeless, and why being homeless is actually making them an even better person, why they're actually the rich person, why we're all the poor people. So these people will attack you for trying to improve a game, for trying to get better at this shit. And to be fair, if I were you guys, I'd get rid of these people. I would be so blatantly into game and so blatantly into making money or becoming more powerful or becoming more into self-development, hitting the gym, eating clean, finding dope ass motherfuckers that it scares these losers off because this isn't everybody. You want to find kindred spirits, people that also love evolving, and then draw them to you. And so a lot of these things I'm talking about, you need to be so blatantly just you. You don't give a fuck if people reject you or don't like you. Get rid of these fucking losers. Laugh them off. If you're not like every like year or 2 years getting rid of some fucking friends because you're growing too fucking fast, then you're not growing fast enough. You're not changing. You're not evolving. People are like crabs in a bucket. They're trying to drag each other down, trying to dragging each other down because they're trying to climb out the bucket them fucking selves. And if you get too good and you get too powerful, then it makes them feel insecure in comparison. If you start evolving, then who am I? It rocks their sense of self-esteem. So then they try to drag you back to the bottom of the fucking bucket. Don't let people do that shit to you. You should be so fed up with people trying to keep you down and trying to keep you from being something. Like how many girls have said, just let him be himself. Just let him be a nice guy. Just be a nice guy. Just be authentic. Just be you. And that's going to get girls. Not me, though, but everybody else will love you. Every other girl out here is going to love you, just not me. It's just like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. You've never been a man. And those guys that are like trying to say, like, don't be a fucking player, they've never been good with girls in their life. So they're in their head, they're like, if I was good with girls, I'd just be sleeping with all the girls and being an asshole and being a douchebag. But I'm not. So I'm actually a good person because I don't want to give into the temptation. Because I would be a shitwad. And it's like, dude, you've never been good with girls in your life. What you think is being good with girls is not what it is. It's not even remotely what it is. So it's like these people who don't know what the fuck it's like to actually to go through this journey and to actually grind. and actually figure this shit out. And it's just like, dude, you're not Dunning-Kruger effect. If you guys don't know the Dunning-Kruger effect is when you don't know anything about something, you think you know everything. Don't listen to these people. They're idiots. Listen to me. Listen to me. Ooh, listen to me. um, yeah. And here's the worst part of all this. You don't really want to change. You don't really want to change. You want to stay stagnant. You don't want to move. Trying to change is like trying to drag a boulder with a resistant rubber band. All right. So this is how I explain to clients whenever I get on the phone with them. Change is like, so, all right. So imagine you have a big rubber band wrapped around your waist and dragged attached to a big boulder. Now you start running and running and running, and eventually the rubber band starts getting tighter and tighter and tighter until you're bear crawling, and then eventually it gets too tight and you fly back and you slam your head against the boulder. And you're like, "Fuck, that fucking sucked. Did I even move that fucking boulder? Oh my god, this is the worst." Well, here's the thing. A lot of you guys have this up and down thing when you guys are trying to get good at this. You guys are having great days and they have bad days, great days and you have bad days. Well, what's happening is your willpower eventually exceeds its limit. Eventually, your ego senses that there's too much incongruity going on. It's easy to not burn willpower when you're staying congruent with past actions, but trying to change actions takes a lot of willpower. Not to mention you have habits and cues throughout your days and throughout your interactions with people that you already knew, throughout the ways that you dress, throughout the ways that you interact with women, throughout like you have all these cues and habits, and you're trying to break all these cues and habits because you're trying to change this person that you are. And so you eventually burn willpower, and eventually you crumble, or like your ego eventually overcomes you, and you go back to your old self. Now, here's the thing: when you were running, you don't feel like you moved that boulder. However, you move that boulder a good 2 to 3 inches in that act, and then you regressed a little bit. But now here's what you got to do: you got to get back up and start running again, and continue pulling a boulder, because over a period of time, you will drag that boulder a good distance. On occasion, too, maybe you'll get a little bit of a downslope and the boulder will like be moving 3 feet, 6 feet. There's those times where that happens, where like you just where yeah, and over a period of time, are you doing this a year, 2 year, 3 years, you're gonna build up some strength. You're gonna build up some leg muscles. You're gonna get like some good arms on you. So as you start pulling the boulder, you're gonna be able to pull that boulder further and further. You're actually you make your ego more flexible the longer you do this. And also you learn little tricks and tips like I've been teaching you here, and you learn how to manipulate yourself better to get yourself to go to that place you need to go. And so pulling that boulder gets easier. But a lot of you guys who start off in this, you're like, my God, I'm regressing. What the fuck? And you guys like start freaking out. Don't freak out. It's such a normal thing to go up and down. But look at it like a stock market. If you look at the stock market in a very small spot, it looks like you're fucking failing, you're getting worse. But when you back up over the course of like 6 months, it looks like this. And it's going up. It's a general trend up if you're doing this correctly. It's really hard to practice game in an effective way. And if you're having a hard time with that, obviously get a coach, hire me. If getting good at this or getting past intermediate purgatory is getting difficult, honestly, a coach helps out so much. I've had such a litany of coaches, and it makes life so much fucking easier than just blindly moving forward and not knowing what the fuck you're doing. It's I call it going through the mist. When you don't know what you're doing wrong or right, it's difficult to evolve and change. It is, and that's why you have to do so much sheer force of will, because you don't know how you're fucking up. Learning to get a good sense of when you're fucking up and how you're fucking up will help out your long-term results. But initially, a lot of us men, we we weren't born going out approaching girls. We weren't born being very social, because like society's not very we're not as social as we used to be. We're not as social as we used to be as men. So a lot of us think that we're like just socially inept, but really the truth of the matter is that we're not giving a lot of people eye contact other than like your mother and brother. So then like it's hard to pick those skills up. All right, here I'm gonna read through some comments and then I'll probably call it quits. Before I do that though, like I said, I am filling up spots for my Nashville boot camp. If anybody's interested, text me 72841-9909. It's taking place this August in summer. Yeah, if you guys want to pick up some cowgirls with me, let me know. All right. Hey, bro, how's it going, man? This is 95% of the people. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's hard to develop self-awareness though. It's so difficult. But again, like, it's not everybody can't win. So that's the idea. So like we're trying to take advice from from like the majority, from like the masses. But the problem is by trying to take advice from the majority, you're trying to be the top 10 to 5%. You're trying to be the top 10 to 5% of like being good with the girls. I'm trying to currently like, or like, let's say you're trying to be the top 5 to 10% of being good with money. Are you going to trust the other like 90 to 95% of people on how to make money? No. If you're trying to be the top 5% with girls, are you going to trust like 95% of the population to give you good advice on how to pick up girls? No. They have no fucking idea what they're talking about. But that's just the way it is. Um, bro, you just a few days until I moved to Texas. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, bro. Fuck yeah. Texas is a good game for state. Yeah, it is. Hun, I called a feminist out for false accusations and got called out for being toxic masculine, but I doubled down. Yeah, yeah. Toxic masculine. What does that even mean? Yeah, it's live. Well, that's live now. Being polarizing works. Yeah, being polarizing. Well, at first it's polarizing, but eventually just becomes authenticity, like true authenticity. Denton, comfort-based game or attraction-based game? What's better way? Um, Neither. Both matter, but the thing is that what people think is comfort and attraction based game isn't really that. To be fair, I'd even throw those words out the fucking window. Most people shouldn't even need either of those styles of game. If you're somebody that's too comfortable, you should become more attraction based. If you're too attraction based, you should become too comfortable. If you're not, but I'll say this too. A lot of guys who focus too much on attraction game, it's because you guys think you're ugly, and then you guys overcompensate by putting so much energy into being trying to be more attractive, which isn't what's going on. It's like that you're just it's just that the girls are uncomfortable around you because they don't trust you. Then that's when you need to work on comfort. You're like, no, I don't. I need more attraction. It's like, no, you don't. Like, there's the guys who will always get on a phone call with me who will argue to like until they run out of air about how they need more attraction that need the most comfort. Um, I'm gonna move to Vegas and hire you one day. Dope, man. Thank you. Then what are traditional beliefs that you think society not right, or do you think most of it is wrong? Traditional beliefs are wrong, but it's because it's based in like so we don't think about this, but Western culture is based in what is it? It's based in Protestant beliefs. Um, like the first settlers here were Protestant, and currently they're the ones that are controlling the narrative. So they got the Protestants stopped being religious as of recently, and now instead of being religious, they are they turn their religion and they're still religious zealots. It's just now they lack the religion. Now they're just zealots, and it's why like the internet is such a cancel culture type of shit right now, and it's why like society is built the way it is. Um, yeah, that's generally wrong, but it's just it's again it's like it's just because society doesn't it comes from a place of like their thing like even before I got into this, I thought that society knew how dating worked and how humans work, and you really quickly learn that not really. Oh yeah, bro. Do you think having high sex drive is a curse in a way? I feel like a lot of good pickup guys have toxic women in their life uh, just for good sex. Not really. I don't know. I don't think it's good or bad. I have a high sex drive, and I don't know. Like, if you are drawing toxic women into your life, that's when you need to get you need to learn about psychology and maybe get a therapist. Uh, for me, that's what I did that for a while. I got started getting a lot more women, and then I started drawing the wrong women. And if that's the case, like my job is getting guys results, is getting more women, like teaching men how to be attracted to women, getting options. From there, if you're drawing really like dark women to you, that's when you need to start like studying like psychology and therapy. I went really hard at studying it for like 2 or 3 years in terms of relationships, and it helped out a lot, helped out a fuck ton. Um, you should start a cult. I already have. Ha ha ha. Wow, just what I was thinking. How would you combat with loneliness? Loving being lonely when you are. It's actually kind of good for you to be alone every so often. Um, being alone is actually it's a good thing. It teaches you how to be stronger. It's also like when I'm alone, I sit here with my pen and paper. Um, yeah, it's being lonely is supposed to happen. If you're not comfortable being lonely, you're gonna settle for a loser, or it's like it makes it you easier to manipulate if you're afraid of being alone. If you're afraid if you're not if you don't learn how to be by yourself every so often, you become easier to manipulate from like toxic women and people in general. The army taught me a phrase I didn't love until I started self improvement, and it's complacency kills. Yeah, it does. Yeah, complacency kills. Um, I agree with you. Most guys being too scared to approach and rationalizing. What do you think about? Think there's guys that are legitimately religious and who don't want to have premarital sex. Um, it's not going to work nowadays. I mean, it can, but like the how many girls are like going to be okay with a guy who's okay? So it's something that I tell virgins. Girls have a choice to make their first time having sex special. We don't as men. Girls can make their first time having sex special. Men don't. Um, women also want guys who are experienced. They want guys who are good in bed who are not uncomfortable because like, dude, if you're uncomfortable, you're there's no strength in being weak. There's no strength in not being confident. There's no strength in not being skilled. And if you're a guy who's never had sex before, it's not sexy because you're competing against guys like me, like a lot of guys who are watching this channel. You're competing against guys who are my friends, who are rich, who are this, who are that, and then you're trying to be religious. Religion like that doesn't work anymore in the current century. If you find another girl in your town, like let's say you guys are both super religious, the only girl who would ever be into a guy like that is also super religious and super sheltered. Otherwise, like the majority, the mass, I honestly, I've not met too many girls who are that kind of religious either. But maybe they're out there for that person who doesn't want to have sex before marriage. But as men, we don't have that choice of deciding to make our first time of having sex special. That's for women. Women can make that decision if they want to. Guys can't because we have a hard time with the upfront. Easy time with the back end, but a hard time with the upfront. Oftentimes too, a lot of guys will self lie about this and like use it as an excuse to because yeah. Are you getting better at saving money? Yeah, of course, man. Yeah. Um, how much do you want to get her talking and her just listening percentage wise? Um, initially you want to do most of the talking. Well, initially you have to. It's not that you want to, but at some point it should be like 60-40 where she's talking. To be fair, actually, I don't really know. I think it's different with everybody. I think it's just a conversation. I don't think it's like I mean, in the early stage, and it also depends on where you're at game wise. Um, the answer is not really very straightforward. But like the more she talks, the more she invests. The more she invests, the more that she must like you. The more she'll backwards rationalize she likes you. But at the same time, too, if you're not talking, then you're not leading the conversation. So there's good reasons for both for why you want to talk versus why she wants to talk. I love my girlfriend, but I don't think we are compatible. So should I break up with her? Yeah, break up with her. But I know that, but you're not going to be capable of it probably. I mean, if you can get the leverage to do it, go for it. Um, uh, I would set myself up in a situation to where you had to break up with her. So what I did was is that I got my own. I rented out another spot that wasn't her. Yeah, I can see your messages. I didn't. This is the first message I've seen from you though. But set you up a situation where you have to break up with her. To make it easier for yourself. But if you don't feel like you're compatible with her, yeah, break up with her. You're just gonna do her like you guys are just gonna break up eventually, anyways. And the longer you do it, the more you're gonna hurt her, and the more you're gonna hurt yourself and hurt your potential. And yeah, I can see your messages, bro. I haven't seen any before this, but yeah, this is the first one I've seen of your messages. All right. Anyways, yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to jump on the boot camp for Nashville, let me know. I'm also going to be coming out with a group here pretty soon for this next month. I'll be probably unveiling it here in either tomorrow or the next day. I'm only going to allow I believe 5 people into the group, It's gonna be a online group boot camp. I'm not gonna like talk about it too much yet. Um, I got it all set up, so in the next couple days, I'll probably drop a video about it. For anybody who wants to jump on that. But yeah, talk to you guys later. I'm gonna get to work, open some shades up, get ready for a coaching call. With that being said, peace. Oh, how to make a girlfriend angry? Emotion investly, invest emotionally. A learning game from Todd right now, other than him and who else? Mm, I don't. I fuck if I know, man. All right, guys.